Hello everyone, my name is Suganya. Today let us study about the chapter Blow Hot, Blow Cold. Here we will study about the process of breathing and about the respiratory system. Now every one of you hold your breath and time it. How long could you hold your breath? Could you hold it endlessly? No, you might have realized that it is not possible to hold the breath for long. Now let us see the process of breathing. Breathing is an act of taking in and giving out air. So here we have inhalation and exhalation. When we take in air into our lungs through our nose or mouth, this we call it as inhaling. So while inhaling, our chest expands and it becomes bigger. After a while, we breathe air out of our lungs through the nose. This we call it as exhaling. When we exhale, our chest contracts and becomes smaller. So this is the process of taking in air and giving out the air, that is breathe in and breathe out. Now let's see the process of respiratory system. So here this breathe in and breathe out, these movements, that is the chest compression and the contraction, that is helped by an elastic band formed of a muscle called the diaphragm. And the oxygen enters our body through our nose and the nasal passage. The nasal passage opens into the windpipe, which is a long tube. Now it branches into the bronchus that leads to the lungs. The lungs are a pair of spongy air bags. They are protected by a cage of bones called the rib cage. And most importantly, the blood absorbs the oxygen from the lungs and carries it to all the parts of the body. Why do we breathe? Before that, let us see what is respiration. For every minute, we breathe in and breathe out for about 12 times each. That is breathing in and breathing out. Both the things will be for 12 times. And this process we call it as respiration. So let's see, why do we breathe? We breathe all the time because our body needs a constant supply of oxygen. The oxygen is necessary for producing energy from the food digested in the body. Oxygen converts the glucose in our food into energy, which helps our body to carry out various activities. So this oxygen gives us the energy to do all the activities in the day. Now let's see about the breathing speed and about the pulse. So what is the breathing speed? How will you notice the breathing speed? Now let's see about it. When you are still or you are sleeping, your energy needs are very low. You don't need much of the energy for sleeping or doing nothing. And your breathing is slow and shallow. But at the same time, when you do some exercises and when you play some games, you need more energy. And you automatically find yourself breathing faster. So your heartbeat also increases. So when we don't do anything, our heartbeat is slow. That is, the breathing speed is slow. But when we do some work, when we play games, when we run or do something, then the heartbeat is faster. We need more energy. Now let's see about pulse. Now you all can feel your pulse by placing your fingers on the inner side of your wrist. That is, you can feel the pumping of the blood by the heart by placing your fingers on the inner side of your wrist or the side of your neck. So you can hear a rhythm or a beat. That beat is called as the pulse. Now you can count your pulse. That is the number of movements in a minute by using a stopwatch. So you can keep counting the rhythm or the beat which you can hear. And an adult's heart beats about 72 times in a minute. But for a child, it is faster than an adult. So we can feel our pulse by placing our fingers on the wrist. That is the inner side of the wrist. And we can keep counting the rhythm or the beat. It is important to know how should we breathe. We should breathe through our nose and not through our mouth. Let's see why it is. The nose has passage or holes through which we breathe, and that is called as the nostrils. And these two nostrils have small hairs that prevent the dust particles from growing inside our nose by acting as a filter. And they also warm the air that we breathe in. So when we breathe through our mouth, that dust particles that enter our respiratory system and it can cause infection. So therefore, we must always breathe through our nose and not through our mouth. Let us see an example. Keep your hand in front of your mouth and blow out air. Is your breath cold or warm? Yeah, you can conclude that when you blow out, it is hot and humid. This is because our body is warm inside and has a temperature of 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That is why when your hands get cold in winters, you blow air from your mouth and make them warm. Now let's see how do we use the breath. The using your breath in different activities. Let us see some of the examples. When you burn your hand by touching a hot object, you cool the area by blowing air on it. This is because the air you blow out is cooler than the area which is burnt. Similarly, you blow on a hot cup of tea to cool it down. The tea cools because the air you breathe out is cooler than the hot tea. And the next example is, you also blow to keep the flame burning because the fire needs air to burn. You must have seen a corn seller blowing on the pieces of burning coal that is used to roast the corn. By blowing on the fire, he or she increases the air supply to it. Thereby, it increases its intensity. So, here we studied about breathing process, that is inhaling and exhaling, taking in the oxygen and giving out the carbon dioxide, and we studied about the respiratory system. And more importantly, we saw how should we breathe. And you know that we take in air and give out air, that is the process of breathing. Now let us solve some exercises on the above discussed topic. Define the following: respiration, breathing, pulse. Answer the following. Differentiate inhalation and exhalation. The next one is, why it is advisable to breathe through your nose instead of your mouth. The third one is, which organ pumps blood to all parts of the body. You can refer the answers in which we have discussed. Thank you.